So we are doing 10-1, which is midpoint and distance formula. This should be a review. You should have seen this already, either in Algebra 1 or Geometry, maybe even 8th grade, if you're that cool. Okay. Basically, we're talking about a Cartesian plane. We're talking about 2 points, and we're going to find the midpoint of some line, segment, whatever. Okay. The midpoint formula is right there. It's between x1, comma y1, and x2, comma y2. And the formula looks like this. Capital M, and it's important you understand it's capital M because what is lowercase m? Slope. Okay? Or meters, but it's slope for formula purposes. Okay? Alright, so what is our formula for midpoint?
y2 minus y1 over x.
No, that is the slope formula. So that's the other m.
X plus 1 or x1 plus x2.
Oh,
So x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So now here's the deal. Yeah, and it gives you a set of coordinates, an ordered pair. Let me ask you a question. Does it matter if it's x1 plus x2 or x2 plus x1? No. Why? Because you're adding. Adding, you can swap it around. It doesn't make any difference. Okay? What goes hand in hand with midpoint formula is the distance formula. Now, generally speaking, we do distance formula when we're talking about finding like a diagonal distance, right? If I wanted to find the distance from the distance on that x-axis from here to here, whoops, not that either. When I'm looking for the distance formula, I'm usually not looking for this, because how do I find that distance? You just look and count. No, you're going too far. You just look and count, right? I mean, if this is 2 and this is 7, the distance is 5, right? 2, 3, 4. Okay? Mind blowing. Okay? Same thing when we're looking here. Up and down, we just look and count if we can. Now, the only problem would be what? What's the only problem? A half? Or what looks to be a half? That would be a problem, right? If we had decimals or fractions or something like that. Now, ideally though, when we talk about distance formula, we're looking for more along the lines of this right here. A diagonal. Because you just can't count. I know in 8th grade and 9th grade, when those tests used to show up on the tax test, we wanted to try to count halves. That's a half, and I'm pretty sure that's 3/4. So a quarter and that, 1/4, and you try to make it work. And I know you do because you've all done it. I did it when I was there. I was like, this kind of looks like it could be if I put it together with that one and one. Now we're going to actually find the actual distance using a distance formula. Our distance formula is a little more intricate, but not too terribly difficult. Lowercase d here. And that's the same as in any other class. And then you have the square root of what? Anyone? Okay, x2 minus x1 squared plus, yeah, y2 minus y1 squared.
And it matters what operation they go.
Yes, it matters what order now because what?
It's subtracting.
It's subtracting now. Okay?
Hey, the bottom left corner, that's x2 and y2, right?
Yeah, I'm not real sure what we were doing here.
Yeah, it's like really tiny.
Right.
No, I know. This is x2, y2, and this is also x2, y2. I'm not really sure. I understand this, but to me, I don't know why you're
I thought
that.
that's it.
It's kind of irrelevant because we're not using it. I think it was just a frame of reference for you to look at. So,
Can we use pen?
I'm sorry, what? Does that have anything to do with it? No! Alright, do I need to put the pin 30 points off again up there?
What? You ever had
I did.
Mr. Trox will be minus 50 off if you wrote it.
Mr. Trox is hardcore. That dude don't mess around.
I don't say it.
I love Mr. Troxel.
Okay. Before Serena made me look like a total jerk.
What?
He stabbed Mr.
I was
Troxel
raising
with
my
a
hand in
pencil.
class.
I got
I was
sent to
raising
the
like I was
office.
joking around, and I had my pencil, and he was right next to me, so my pencil goes wham right in his
And the
arm.
next thing
He's
you hear
like,
is him yelling,
"Ow, you stabbed me!" I was like,
funniest
With the AEP.
ever.
Alright, here you go.
you know, he said-
Let's do our one example so that you guys cannot feel as guilty doing your homework while you're ignoring me. Alright, so
That's what we said.
find the distance between 5, 2 and 7, 8, then find the midpoint. Okay? So, distance formula is D equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I do want to point out one thing. It is really a good habit to write the formula every time. I know it stinks, and I know you guys like to look at one formula and just plug it in every time, but looking at this will reduce a lot of those errors at the beginning, because a lot of times students make errors at the beginning because they don't want to write the formula out. I always encourage my freshmen to do that. I still do that when I'm working problems. It's probably good for you guys to do it. You can even label the points. When I teach slope to freshmen, I tell them, hey, label this your x1, your y1, and then your x2 and your y2. And I'll just have them label it up on top so that way they don't mess that up. So if I plug this in, what do I have now? D equals square root of
7 minus 5 squared plus 8 minus 2 squared.
7 minus 5 squared plus 8 minus 2 squared. Keep working it out, not showing every step. I have 7 minus 5 is 2 squared plus 8 minus 2 is 6 squared. And then I have square root of 4 plus 36. And then I end up with, I'm going to shoot up here, D equals the square root of 40. Am I done?
Yes.
No! I can simplify the radical.
No. Yeah, wait to do that now. It's 4 and 10.
Okay, it's 4 and 10. 4 times 10, right? So D equals 2 square roots of 10.
Lovely.
Great job. Any questions? That's distance. Now let's find the midpoint very quickly, which is easier because I said so. Okay? So the midpoint is not that. That was awesome though.
Adding this time.
Yeah, midpoint equals, okay, x1 plus x2 over 2 times, and y1 plus y2 over 2. Midpoint equals, okay, x1 is what? 5 plus 7 over 2, comma. Anybody?
2 plus 8.
6 and
This is where you can feel like a champ because you can answer. Okay. So then I have m equals 12 over 2 and 10 over 2. Come back up here. M equals, now Serena,
6 and 5.
6 comma 5. So that's where you will find your midpoint. I only said that half an hour ago.
Is your door locked?
No. All right, any questions? All right, homework. 10-1, all.